Welcome to another episode of the Chester Centurion Podcast, where we dive into the stories behind businesses that really shape our community. Today I'm joined by John Farrell, a key figure at Ellis Co, a well-respected accounting firm that's been serving businesses since 1989. John shares his journey from joining the firm in 2004 to helping drive its growth and innovation. We'll discuss the realities of running a business, the importance of understanding your numbers, and how staying proactive and with financial planning can make all the difference. If you're a business owner looking for practical insights, this is the episode for you. Let's dive in. So John, welcome to the Chester Centurion Podcast. Before we get started today, I'd love to know a little bit more about the business and how long it's been trading and what it is you do.
Sure, yeah. So Robert Ellis started the business in 1989. I obviously wasn't a founder member then. He started as a sole practitioner in the city, still at the same premises now on Northgate Street. And I was fortunate enough to get a role there in 2004. I left school to start accountancy, and this was my second role. And so it sort of went from there, really. I joined a team of about 7 or 8, I think, back then. Ironically, with another John Morehouse. He started 6 months before me. And it just sort of went from there. Robert was good enough to say to myself and John to get out and about and start meeting people. We weren't just, always sat behind the desk, and that's how the business grew, really, because obviously Robert was, he was just brilliant boss to work for, and just helped us along, and can't believe it's now 21 years
Wow.
since joining.
What size is the team now, John?
So team now, we have 22. Robert opened a Wrexham branch about 15 or 16 years ago. We were on the High Street near the football ground. We're now on the Wrexham Industrial Estate. Good place to be, because obviously what's happening on the football field at Wrexham has obviously grown the local economy. So well placed there as well. So we've got myself, Robert, James, and John. James, Alice is Robert's son. He joined 7 years ago. And we've got the accounts team headed up by Paul Johnson, who's the accounts practice manager. Then we've got a tax department ran by Melanie, a payroll department ran by Katie, and we've got some the admin stuff as well.
Oh, really cool. So what motivated you to get involved in the business, and what was the driving force behind that decision to take that entrepreneurial role, John?
Yeah, well, like I said, Robert was always really good with us in terms of if we had ideas to help change the business or improve the business, he was always, his door was always open. It wasn't sort of, Robert's, he was the main man, but he was always open to ideas. I think that really helped me and John in particular, because it gave us a sort of sense of pride to be taking the business on to like the next step. And obviously things change in the world in terms of, IT and things. So Robert wasn't always the sort of person that's like, look, it's my way and that's it. He was happy to, change things and evolve. So that really helped us make that transition, because it wasn't like one day, you sort of just doing accounts or, every day, and then, oh, right, now you're running the place. We sort of work with him, and that was really quite, don't want to say easy. It was quite, what's it was just almost like a natural step rather than a very daunting one. So that's how it sort of came about. And I think that also gave Robert comfort that the business was going to be in hopefully good hands.
I'm sure it is. What would you say that some of the common misconceptions about running a business, and how do you go about addressing them? I mean, that was quite a jump from working in the business to sort of owning it. What would you say those misconceptions are?
I think misconceptions are of business owners, and obviously see it day in day out, that everyone thinks it's rosy. and it's everything's going fine, and you see people or hear people go, oh, such and such have got their own business, they're doing well. Not always the case, is it? Some people who are more than comfortable just being on the payroll somewhere and switching off at 5:30. That's fine. But yeah, I think that's the misconception is that you're earning a fortune and you've got your feet up. It's quite the opposite.
Yeah, I think looking from the outside in, it can be quite easy to look at business owners and go, wow, they can work when they want. And it's kind of a common theme through some of the podcasts we've done already that's just not the case. You've got to put the graft in.
Yeah. And also, in this day and age, you constantly get emails, and obviously phones, as convenient as they are also a pain. So your phone's always going, or there's an email popping up, I'll just have a look at this. And
yeah, never switch off.
Yeah.
The other thing that I find quite common is, you'll know better than anyone really, John, that numbers are the language of business, and we need to be able to talk the language of business. And I've seen business owners that are fairly successful, but still haven't got a firm grasp of the numbers. How often do you see that? And obviously you're there to help.
Yeah, very often. We see it so many times. If people changed to being a client of ours, they've never really been taught or looked through a set of accounts. And it's sometimes mind-blowing because they'll just get the document, sign here, we'll do your tax return, or we'll submit the accounts and, speak to you next year or see you next year. It's honestly, it's quite scary because they'll say, oh, no one's ever taught me through a profit and loss before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people think, oh, cash in the bank's great, it's doing well, but then they're not thinking some of that needs to be for corporation tax or VAT and things like that. So yeah, it's you do need to keep a firm handle on it. And if people are educated as well with software these days, that does help. That you can click a button and have a look at the profit and loss and see how things are going. So yeah, it's an important side of the business. So that's why we like to keep in with people and constant contacts key really.
Yeah, without a doubt. I totally 100% agree with that we need to be closer to our accountants. And, if you're not, then make sure you're building that relationship with your accountant. It's one of the most important people in your business. You need to know your numbers.
Definitely.
Simple. Rule 101. So how do you maintain a work-life balance as a business owner? And do you have any kind of personal rituals or habits that help you keep motivated and focused?
Well, having two very energetic sons and a wife are always very, very busy at the weekends with kids' football and stuff, that does help to switch off, if you like. I'm not one of those that, I'm always not thinking about it, and I can't switch off at the weekends. But I think you've just got to keep busy, and also sort of enjoy these times, because I remember my dad saying he had his own business, and I'm one of 5 sons. So obviously him and my mum were busy, but he always said, look, before you know it, they'll be out of the house, they'll have grown up and gone. So just enjoy it. So yeah, I do try to switch off away from the business at the weekend. Keep an eye on things. I said before, if the emails pop on the phone, I'll have a quick look. But yeah, it's just you need a bit of headspace at the weekend, because throughout the week's just not non-stop really.
I think some business owners I work with plan their weekends. Are very deliberate about how they're going to use their time in the weekend to get the maximum value with their family or friends or whatever that may be. I mean, do you spend time doing that ahead of the weekend, or do you just kind of?
Yeah, I'm not in charge of the calendar in the house, but yeah, there is right. What's happening?
What's the plan?
And so that does help. And the boys are old enough now that me and my wife can just go for a walk with the dog and go for a drink somewhere, and so we do have to plan the weekend ahead. So again, that sort of helps you really, because you've got a bit of a plan in place. So So look forward to getting stuff done by close of play on Friday.
Yeah, very, very true. In the constant evolving business landscape, how do you stay adaptable and open to change? Are there any specific strategies that you use to remain innovative?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the way things are now with, autumn budget, spring budget, etc., we've got to keep ahead of it because it's that old chestnut that, well, my accountant didn't tell me that, and what we pick up on is quite a common thing. So, yeah, we're always keeping ahead on with webinars and this is coming in 2026, etc. And it's easy to think, 2026 is next year, but just it'll be here like that. Mm-hmm. So a really good example of this was when everything was going digital, making tax digital. We just kept hearing it. And Robert back then said, "Listen, lads, we've got to get this in place now because, all right, the deadline's 18 months away, but if we don't start switching clients onto software now, we're just going to have a queue at the door and everyone's saying, right, I've got to do my VAT return digitally, next week." So we just really quickly got people on software, and it was the right thing to do. A lot of people thought all this digital stuff was going to put us out of a job, but it wasn't. It was better for the business owners back then because their record keeping was more efficient, and they, as I said before, you could look at your results. So yeah, we got well ahead of it, and it was so much easier because people were in the mould of doing it. And then we did actually get business off the back of that because a lot of accountants wouldn't switch. They wouldn't start using the software because I think they saw it more as a hassle. So that's probably a good example of how we work because we're just always keeping an eye out of what's coming up.
And talking about the autumn and the spring budgets, how do you communicate that to clients? How important is it that they understand what's changing? I mean, we've obviously got a big change with NI, and it's quite, we're in for a fun couple of months, to be honest. So how do you communicate that? How do you stay ahead of that?
Yeah, so we do a write-up as soon as the budget's happened and post that out there. All our clients are on our database, so that goes out to them, and obviously social media, LinkedIn posts, etc. And we then just say, look, if you want to know what your business is looking like from April onwards, give us a shout, and we'll crunch the numbers. And as you say, NI is a big thing because it's an additional cost on the wage bill. Mm-hmm. So quite a lot of clients have said to us, look, what is going to be the increase then? If I've got this staff size now, what is that going to cost me? And it just helps them prepare. I mean, that was when we put the budget up, so wasn't it? So yeah, we've done that for numerous clients, pre-Christmas and now. So a lot of them have thought, right, okay, they're not going to lay anyone off or anything. That that's what it's going to cost me, and they can work rather than being reactive. They're obviously proactive.
Yeah, 100%. Could you offer a glimpse into your future plans and goals for the business? What do you envisage for the next chapter of your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, we're always picking up new clients. I mean, we've got a good, obviously, really good rep and proactive approach. So there's growth constantly, which inevitably means recruitment. So there's the growing of the team. As I mentioned before, we're in Wrexham as well, so that's going well. We've sort of given one of the team that the task of growing that and making good connections, which he is doing. And yeah, I suppose you never know what opportunities are going to pop up. I mean, there's practitioners in and around our area retiring or looking at selling out. Yeah, I suppose that would be the natural step to have another premise somewhere. Where that be, I don't know, but yeah, it's going really well, and it's growing as we're expecting. So we're just trying to keep the good name of Ellis Co going, really.
Very good. Very good. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, John. And obviously Ellis Co is, everybody in Chester that has their own business is aware of the business. So you've got an incredible reputation. So Thank you for joining us today. I've got two final questions to ask you. I usually just ask one, but you're getting two, John, I'm afraid.
Right.
So the first one is about the numbers. And if you were to give, I guess, a new business owner, a new entrepreneur that's just starting their journey, or even someone that's struggling, what three pieces of advice would you give them about their numbers in the business? What should they be looking at?
Yeah, we've come across lots of startups during our time, and obviously everybody's got to start with the numbers because you need to know if it's going to work or not. So I'd say be realistic. We've seen people who are going to have £1 million in the bank after week one, and I'm not knocking them at all for ambition, but unfortunately that didn't happen. It's more that the people that have got the forecasts and things who are being conservative and realistic, you tend to find that they are the ones that make it work. Whereas, I think you've just got to get your numbers right at the beginning, because you've got to start. Obviously, you got to start from somewhere. But if you start with numbers that just aren't going to work, then it's not going to happen.
So be realistic with your forecasts.
Very, yeah. And also as well, if you're needing funding, a bank will obviously look at that. So if your numbers are up here, unfortunately the banks will get a bit twitchy as well on that.
For sure. What else?
I wouldn't jump into getting business premises if you didn't need it. You can, with how things are now, it's an additional cost if you can start from home or have a hot desk at some place. Then that's worth doing because you'll hopefully then grow to then need premises. So that's good with the numbers. And then I suppose if you're going into business with another person, just make sure everything's okay at the beginning. We always say if you're going 50-50, you should have like a shareholders agreement or something like that. Even with family, because all the will in the world, everything's great at the beginning, but again, unfortunately, we have seen the odd fallout, and it can come to bite you if you've not got stuff all sorted at the start.
Yeah, that's a strong one for me as well. I coach quite a lot of family businesses, and I've seen it do damage that it shouldn't do. And it's that clear expectation and communication up front. Who's doing what? Where's the money coming from? Who's expecting what? Is so critical to get that right on day one, so that everybody knows where they stand.
Yeah, definitely.
Family and friends can work in your business, but you've got to have that clear expectation and clear communication from day one.
Yeah.
Really good advice. And keep the costs low at first, I think, is great advice as well. Thank you for that, John.
Okay.
So the next question, the final question is, what three pieces of business advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs or maybe someone who's facing challenges in their business right now?
Three. Facing challenges. I think you should have a good network of people around you and face up to things. We have seen people that don't ask for help, don't talk to someone. If you're a one-man band and you're just talking to the wife at night, doesn't always help, unfortunately. Whereas if you got a second opinion from someone with a fresh pair of eyes, that would obviously or could help. So yeah, have a good network around you to bounce ideas or get help, and don't bury your head. Sometimes business isn't going well, and you do get the odd letter from certain organisations, and it's easy to ignore. Whereas if you'd have asked for help at the beginning, then you would, you'd get out of it. It's unfortunately you see it. People think, oh God, I've got this to pay, that to pay. If you get in contact, then you can sort out things. So yeah, just don't sort of shy away from things, really. And probably the third one is enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Because what you're doing it for. I mean, obviously there's an end goal. There's an end goal for everyone, but you've got to be happy in what you're doing. Luckily, and obviously testament to Robert, very rarely did I get out of bed thinking, oh, bloody hell, I've got to get to work today. Very very rare. But yeah, it's a big part of your life work, so you might as well do something you're enjoying.
I think that's gold dust there, isn't it? Get a good network of people around you that you can bounce ideas off. Don't bury your head in the sand when things are going not as expected. Deal with them up front and centre, and enjoy the journey. Wow. John, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
We'll
Cheers.
We'll speak soon.
Thank you. Bye.